Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. They say that in space, no one can hear you scream. There's something very visceral about that marketing campaign for the first Alien film. The latest in the franchise, Alien Romulus, goes back to its horror roots under director Fede Alvarez. It's in theaters and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Alien Romulus is the 9th film in the franchise if you also consider the Alien vs. Predator movies. In terms of timeline, it takes place in between Alien and Aliens. Cailee Spaeny plays Rain Carradine, a young orphan stuck on a space colony light years from Earth with zero sunlight. She works for the Weyland Company, and if you've seen the other movies, you know that nothing good comes from them. Finding her mission and purpose in life has become challenging. By her side is her brother Andy, who's played by Jonsson, who happens to be an android. Her friends convince the two of them to join in on an unofficial, illegal trip to a space station, hoping to find cryostasis chambers that could take them to another planet or colony altogether. They come across an abandoned space station known as the Renaissance that's been divided into two halves, the Romulus and the Remus. Now, what they find there is something that they could never have imagined. A massive colony of xenomorphs. You know, the vicious alien species and their little face-hugger baby aliens that attacked the crew of the Nostromo years prior. Fede Alvarez is no stranger to adapting known beloved properties after taking his spin with Evil Dead and The Girl in the Spider's Web, and more recently penning the story for the most recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix. Alien Romulus is his best film to date, as he clearly studied the Alien franchise and really has pulled what works best out of those movies. Ridley Scott made the first film, this masterpiece of terror in outer space, and Alvarez primarily goes back to those roots of just scaring the crap out of his audience with good, well-executed scares in the back half of the movie. He's not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel or bring in completely new mythology here, but rather nestles this film in nicely with the others. From the opening credit font, at a score that feels really reminiscent of the first film, it's easy to kind of just slip back into this world. Alvarez has terrific set pieces on his hands, with the film primarily taking place on that Renaissance space station. The set feels very weathered and worn, but really tangible for the audience and the actors to play on. You almost feel like Alvarez made this back in the 70s. Gallo Oliveira's cinematography isn't overly dark, but it's lit just enough to feel that confined, claustrophobic, without compromising on the action. They make the wise choice of not letting the audience get too far ahead of these characters. Oftentimes we're seeing their shocked faces before we actually see the alien lunging at them. The cast, led by Cailee Spaeny, is much younger than the crews that we've seen before, and it adds a different dimension, bringing in kind of that youthful, inexperienced mentality on board. Spaeny is not trying to be the next Ellen Ripley. There's really no topping what Sigourney Weaver's masterful, iconic performance. Jonsson does terrific work as the android Andy, making him someone that kind of teeters between trustworthy and unreliable when he's really programmed to do what's best for the company. Now, we've seen android characters before, played by Lance Henriksen and Michael Fassbender in the other Alien movies. Now, Alvarez makes the daring move to use AI-generated imagery and voiceover and previous dialogue to bring back a legacy character despite the actor having passed away. And apparently his family did sign off for it, but I think that it really sets a dangerous precedent moving forward. And just when you think that Alvarez may have played it a little too safe, he goes there with a very graphic ending that may or may not upset die-hard Alien fans. Alien Romulus succeeds thanks to Fede Alvarez's thoughtful approach at just reminding the audience about what made that first film work so well. It has all the staples of the Alien franchise, with the xenomorphs, the face-huggers, the chest-bursting moments, and some familiar dialogue. I'm giving Alien Romulus 4 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I have some movie reviews, some celebrity interviews, and I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment here on YouTube or on social media at Paul's Movie Trip. Do you have a favorite in the Alien franchise? Mine, of course, is the original. I just love the horror element that Ridley Scott brought to it. And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Alien Romulus. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.